Health, Home, and Lifestyle. Presented by Paradise Fitness Center, changing lives since 1996.
Hafide, and welcome back, everybody. We have a very sensitive topic to talk to you about tonight because the topic of grieving is something which is very, very personal and very, very unique. Fortunately, I have a new friend, Darlene Garcia, is here, and she is helping people to cope with Darlene. It's like, as I said, it's a very individual process, and there really is no book, no guideline, no standard operating procedure for how you deal with grief. I mean, you can be as generic as you want or just say there's a general pattern, but would you agree that this is something that people go through in their own individual ways?
Yeah, well, definitely grief is an individual journey. We can't compare ourselves to others even if we're grieving the same person. But how you recover from that grief is something that I would like to talk about, because that's where I come in and how I can help people to heal and get through that process.
Now, for some backstory, you were actually sharing with me, and if you wouldn't mind, if you can share with our audience, what brought you to this work?
Yeah, so my husband Frank died 2 years ago, almost 3 actually, in a motorcycle accident in front of First Hawaiian Bank. I don't know if you remember that, back in July of 2015.
I'm very sorry.
And thank you. So after he died, I didn't even know what it meant to grieve. I was raised to be so strong and, to be able to just be tough and deal with things as they came to you. But when he died, that was something so unexpected and not anything that I ever learned about. So as I was going through my journey of grieving the loss of my husband, I knew I needed help. And I actually went out and I sought some help from a psychologist. I went to church. We go to church and we pray. I prayed to God so much. I leaned on family and friends. I went on the internet and I searched for different things, tried to find support groups, but nothing felt right for me. Nothing felt right. And so then a friend of mine actually that doesn't live on Guam had mentioned to me about a grief recovery workshop that she had attended in Arizona. And she says, I don't know if they have that on Guam, but here's the website. Look it up. It helped me tremendously when I lost my partner. By the way, she lost her partner, I think, 2 years maybe before Frank died. So, so I did. I looked it up and I said, what do I have to lose? I've tried everything on Guam and nothing has helped me. So I went online. I found the first workshop that I could reserve myself for, and off I went to Austin, Texas, and I attended a 2.5-day grief recovery method workshop. And I'll tell you, Jason, that everything was so dark for me when Frank died. But just those 2.5 days, that spark of light that I finally got to see after I took that workshop was amazing. Like, I can't even describe how that felt for me.
Now, do you think was it specific information that was passed down to you from people that were experts in that field, or was it more you were among peers and people that were feeling what you have felt or were feeling, and there was a sense of empathy?
So both. So the grief recovery method is actually an action-based program, and we look at it more from an educational standpoint. So we're teaching people how to deal with grief.
It's a framework.
Yes, exactly. So, I had to unlearn all of the things that I thought I knew about grieving so that I could relearn all of the newer things, the things that actually made sense. And as I was going through this workshop, and, for example, one of the myths of grief is you grieve alone. And I did that. For months I did that because I felt like no one, number one, would understand what I was going through. I didn't want to put my kids through more pain than they were already feeling. And I didn't want to show my weakness in front of people. So what did I do? I shut the world out and I grieved alone. And that's one of the myths of grief is, no, you don't have to grieve alone. And
I've also read that they say, a lot of people say, granted, these aren't people who are experts, but they say, based on what we know, you've just got to let it go, or in your case, let him go. And it doesn't mean that you don't love him any less. It doesn't mean that you're not going to honor his memory, but you just have to separate yourself, which is incredibly difficult to do when it's something like that it's all around you and it's present in your life in all ways, 24/7. Right?
I will tell you that many people had said that to me, and that could be probably one of the worst things you can say to someone that's grieving. Right? Because when you lose someone that you love so deeply, you definitely don't want to let them go. And so just the choice of words sometimes can really be more hurtful than helpful. And people just don't realize that, you know. So after I took that workshop as a participant, you know, I came back to Guam and I, you know, was going through life, and you know, I'm still healing. Even today, I'm still healing. But I realized that we do not have anything on this island like it. So about 7 months later, I went and I got certified. And I became a grief recovery specialist. And
well, bless you for doing that.
And so that's why I'm here, is because I wanted to talk to you and to the people of Guam and let everybody know that grief recovery is real. It does exist. Doesn't mean that you're never going to cry again. It doesn't mean that your sadness is going to go away forever. It doesn't mean that joy is going to you know, block out all the sadness and the loneliness that you felt. It's actually the complete opposite.
Okay, may I ask though, you obviously dealt with your own grief in your own way, and as you said, you know, you've been on this journey and you are continuing to do so. Has starting this program locally and everything and being able to reach out to your fellow Guamanians, has that been even more of a sense of catharsis for you? And you know, has it helped your healing process?
Absolutely. It totally does. I mean, helping me on my healing journey is helping others, you know, and that is what I found so much. I actually realized that that's the deeper purpose that I'm here for. You know, sometimes, you know, you question, why does God take your loved one? You know, why did they have to die so soon? You know, they weren't ready to die yet. Why aren't we growing old together? You know, all of these questions. But I you know, as I go through this journey, and I meet more and more people that are grieving the loss of someone or just loss in general, I realize that this is what I'm here for. This is the journey.
Now, if people are on their own journeys right now, is it more advisable to give you a ring and to read up on what you have to offer and the information you can share with them at the onset of their grief, or do they have to like grieve for a certain period of time before they come to you? Do they have to like process it to a certain degree?
Well, you know, there is actually no time frame for grieving.
Again, different things to different people.
Yes, exactly. And it's never too soon to heal your heart. But I don't, personally, I don't go out and talk to people about the grief recovery method as soon as they lose a loved one. I do go and I offer my condolences, and I'm there for them, you know, for support and for love. But I do let them know what I do. Most people do now. But yeah, no, there's no time frame. So, you know, someone can come to me after 20 years of grieving and realize they now need the help. You know, so it could be at any point in your grief journey that you can come to me and say, I need help, or what can you do to help me, because I've been going through this for far too long. Okay, well, certainly, Darlene, there are a lot of people watching right now that would want to avail of your information, so we got to end the show, but can you please give your phone number and any other way that people can contact you? Yes, so my phone number is 686-HOPE, that's 4673, it's easy to remember. And I actually wanted to share with you, I'm giving this to you as a gift. Thank you. You can have it for yourself or for the studio. It's the Grief Recovery Handbook, and this is actually what we base our program on. Okay. Right, so sometimes people may not be ready to come out and face a group or talk to a stranger. They can certainly get the book. Oh, thank you very much. And learn how to recover from their grief just by getting the book. Well, as I said, bless you, and it's very, very inspiring, and we thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is going to do it for our show. We'll put a link to this on our website right now, so check out KUM.com and the KUM News mobile app. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Close